My Blood the Ink. Episode 11. A Race Between Tricksters.
I wake on a beach. Disoriented, I spit sand from my mouth, and in the light of the moon, realize that I'm wearing the same clothes that had draped my frame when I first fell into the sea. I hadn't seen them in almost a year. They feel wrong on me, stiff and ill-fitting, emblematic of my skin being used to the caress of currents and the bone chill of watery depths. At first, I do not understand, because what seems to be happening cannot be what has happened. Selwyn gone, Atlantis in ruins, Tamkung murdered, Neris a titan. No. You need me. I am the divine emissary. I can help you rebuild. I have to tell you about Selwyn, and then we can call him back once everything is safe. I'm going back. I have to go back. I peel the clothes from me and run into the ocean, swimming out for nearly a mile before diving down as far as I can. As my lungs begin to burst, I look at the ring on my right hand. When will the magic begin again? Had it taken this long last time? How much longer will it be until I can transform and be transported back into the depths of the sea? My questions go unanswered as salt water fills my lungs. Even while I drown, I do not try to swim. I simply stare at my ring, waiting for it to shine, waiting for the centuries-old gesture of a god's love to once again grant me new life. Except I see no magic. I feel no change. And then darkness. I wake on a beach, clothed in the dress of the version of myself that had never known the ocean or the seven sovereigns of the sea, cloaked in apparel that had never known love, had never known him. So again, I peel off my clothes, and again, I throw myself into the sea, and again, after filling my lungs and belly full of salt water, I wake up on a beach. So I peel, I swim, I die, I awaken, I peel, I swim, I die, I awaken, peel, swim, die, awaken, peel, swim, die, awaken. You think you can keep me out? I am not just some interloper that stumbled into your lives. I was chosen. I am singular. I am special. You can't do this to me. Say something. Show yourselves and say something. Fine. You think I don't know another way? For the next hour, I pulled on all the knowledge I had gleaned from my time in Atlantis. I whispered the true name of the northern currents and commanded them to come and sweep me away. I combed the beach for a conch, and once successful, I pricked my thumb, allowed one drop and one drop alone of my blood into its interior, and I blew. I danced for the waves. I called for various hippocampi by name in their native tongue. I prayed to each of the sovereigns. I begged. Still, nothing. By now, I was a tsunami of pain. Unmoored and untethered, I scream at the ocean. I piss in it, try to punch it, try to find some way to hurt it like it is hurting me. It isn't until the sun finally breaks through the sky and I begin to cough up blood, my voice hoarse from unrelenting screams, that I accept that the sea, the sovereigns, and my first love, just like my grandmother before them, had severed all ties and threw me away. I am tired. Tired down to the very depths of me. So tired, in fact, that I cannot move. I'm splayed on the ground between two large rocks, my cheeks buried in the sand. I'm too exhausted to sleep, and so instead, with one eye open, I watch the patterned trails the sea foam leaves as the waves move back and forth. I feel a tingling in my hand where the spider bit me. A moment later, I hear the heavy whisper of footsteps upon sand, and a deep sigh as someone sits next to me. I don't turn to look.
You all right? You gave quite the performance earlier. Then nothing. You alive? All right, that's good. All right then. I'll leave you to it.
I fall asleep. When I wake again, streaks of orange and yellow are painted across the horizon. The sun is starting to set. I sit up with a groan, knocking over the blanket covering me and finally noticing the stranger from yesterday beside me again, stoking a small fire.
Hello.
Hi.
You slept all day, you know.
Feels like it. Is this yours?
These nights can get cold, and I had to make sure you were protected from the sun. I know you think we can't get sunburned, but we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I got some water and fish here if you want some.
Do you always take care of strangers you find on the beach?
I have a long and complicated history with palm wine. Very often, I have been the stranger on the beach.
Well, sorry if I stole your job. Although technically you are still a stranger on the beach.
Am I? Speak up about the fish and water.
Yes, please.
So, you want to talk about it?
I'm not even sure what there is to say. I ran away from home, died, met God, fell in love, broke his heart, brought an ancient civilization to ruin, got possessed, and then rejected.
Sounds rough.
Yep.
So, what happens next?
Nothing. I eat fish on the beach with a stranger. Figure out where I am. Maybe just go home. Or depending on where here is, stay. The air's clean. Beach is nice. Fish is good.
Oh, yeah. The fish is great. But you don't seem all that excited about what comes next.
I've had enough excitement for a lifetime. This story is over.
Okay.
People around me tend not to do so well. I think bad things follow me.
And you want to bring that to my beach?
I will stake out my own little corner. You should be fine.
You promise?
As much as I can.
All right, then. You mind?
No. That's nice. You really believe everything I just told you?
Why wouldn't I?
Because it sounds crazy.
Why would it sound crazy?
Because most people don't even think magic exists.
Sure. But that ain't your fault.
Then whose fault is it?
I know a story that answers that question. You want to hear it?
Depends. You got any more fish?
I do. Figured you might be hungry.
Okay. I'm ready.
This is the story of how magic left the world. Spider, Coyote, and Fox were animal spirits, the first of their species to exist, and also part of every spider, coyote, and fox that lived. But at this point in history, they were also gods. Fox was the goddess of deceit, Coyote, the god of cunning, and Spider, the god of stories. In addition to being both gods and animal spirits, Coyote, Fox, and Spider were tricksters. And they were bored.
Brothers, I grow restless.
Yes, sister. Everyone is boring. The world is dull. I want to do something fun.
Like what?
I don't know. What if we stole the moon again?
Didn't you hear?
Hear what?
About the moon? It seems death went and stole her away.
What? I didn't hear that. When did it happen?
I believe it was just yesterday.
But I saw her just last night.
No, dear brother. What you saw was most likely her reflection.
Her reflection?
Yes. You know how you see your own reflection when you look into a lake?
Of course.
Well, the moon has a reflection that appears across all of the oceans. And sometimes when she's tired or wants a vacation or gets stolen by death, she'll send her reflection.
I didn't know that.
That's because it's mostly a secret. She only told me because we're very close.
We should go back and get her. We could rescue her from death. That would be fun.
Ooh, yes. I like this idea. Why don't you go first?
Why me?
Because you're the brave one. That's why.
That is true. I am quite brave.
I have a better idea, sister.
No, I like this one. Run along into death, Coyote. Save the moon.
I will.
Are you sure you don't want to hear my idea, Coyote?
Well, is it more fun than this one?
You will have to listen to find out. Besides, if you don't like it, you can always run along into death afterwards.
Fine, I'll listen. But this had better be good.
You ruin all my fun.
It's fine. I was never really going to death. I know all about reflections. I was just going to trick all the fox worshippers into resculpting all her temple shrines into little coyotes.
Again?
I know how much it bothers you, and I like how much it confuses them.
What is this idea you have, Spider?
I think we should play a game.
What kind of game?
Well, we have all been tricksters for quite some time.
Yes.
And I think history has shown that we three are the best tricksters.
Easily. The others can't compare.
But haven't you ever wondered which among us is the most clever? Which of us is the trickiest trickster?
Oh, I like this game.
I would too, except we've already played this game.
Really? When?
Just last year, don't you remember? I was crowned the winner, and you were too busy trying to get your snout out of that wasp's nest.
I think that may have been a dream of yours, sister.
Oh. Must have been.
Come now, brother. Do try and be a little less gullible.
I just like playing along.
Well, speaking of play, what should our game be?
I think we should see who can save the moon from death. Coyote should go first.
A wonderful suggestion. Any others?
What about a race?
That seems a bit simple, don't you think?
And that's exactly why we should do it. One race, anything goes. First to arrive wins and claims the title of trickiest trickster.
And where should our destination be?
There. That speck at the edge of the world.
A race that far will take us days.
You're right. Is that too hard? Have I made the game too challenging?
No! I can easily reach the edge of the world.
As can I. Anything goes.
Anything goes.
And when should we begin?
Tomorrow, as soon as the sun rises. Agreed, brothers.
Agreed. Now, the tricksters were very excited. They loved each other very much, but in their secret heart of hearts, they had wondered for a long time which among them was the cleverest. So, they spent the night to themselves, scheming and dreaming, imagining all the ways they could win the next day's race. When dawn finally arrived, they took off. Coyote and Fox racing on land, while Spider hurtled through the air, swinging from cloud to cloud on ropes made of silken web. For a while, they were all neck and neck, each of them never even an inch behind the other. I must do something. And with a burst of speed, he got ahead and dropped a thick web onto Fox and Coyote, trapping them both upon the ground.
We can't move!
You cheat.
So sorry, dear brother, dear sister. Anything goes, remember? I'll meet you at the finish line. And he took off with a mighty laugh. Fox and Coyote bit and scratched and clawed at Spider's web, but it would not give. They struggled in vain until Fox had an idea.
I know what to do. I will use my power to set the web aflame. Then we shall be free.
Yes! Do it, sister!
Fox covered her body and each of her 9 tails in flame until the webbing around her melted away.
Oh, me next!
Oh, Coyote, I would help you, but I know that you are not immune to fire like I am. Wait here. I will run and get help and then come back for you.
And she left. Coyote knew that she would not return and had expected her to betray him. That was why, as soon as she had started to burn, Coyote, using his tail, the only part of his body not caught in Spider's web, grabbed a nearby branch. Now, he threw it to where Fox had just escaped, using the remaining embers of her fire to light the stick anew. His aim was true, and as the stick caught fire, the flame spread until the web covering him had dissolved as well. He raced to catch up, and soon, following the trail of her flames, Coyote was right behind Fox. They raced and raced, but their destination barely seemed closer. By the start of the second day, they were beginning to tire, and Spider was still ahead.
Coyote!
Yes?
I really was going to get you help, you know. I just thought I should finish the race first.
I'm sure you were.
We need to stop Spider. He's still ahead of us.
I have an idea.
What was that?
I have an idea.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, sister, but the smoke from your fire weakened my throat. I don't think I can shout.
I see. And you said you had an idea.
I do.
What was it?
If you slow down just a bit, you will be closer, and then you'll be able to hear me better.
Well, Since it was my flames that caused you to not be able to speak, I'll slow down just a little bit so I can hear you better. How's this?
Closer.
What about now?
Almost.
How about...
Fox jumped in surprise, for Coyote was suddenly right next to her.
How did you do that?
I learned to throw my voice to sound far away years ago. That's why Bear didn't catch me the time I stole his wife.
You should teach me that. Did you really have a plan for Spider?
I did. What if there were no clouds for him to swing on? He may have more legs than us, but we're faster on land.
I love it.
They stopped running, drew in deep breaths, and blew towards the sky with all their might. One moment, Spider was swinging from cloud to cloud, when suddenly, all the clouds scattered and flew away. With nothing for his web to catch on to, Spider fell from high in the sky and landed right on his head. Later that day, Spider was still sleeping on the ground, his fall having knocked him out, when Coyote and Fox passed nearby.
Is he still alive?
I see his belly moving. That means he's breathing.
Are you sure? The wind was blowing. That could make it look as if he was breathing.
You think?
He's our brother. We should be sure that he's all right.
That's true. I'll check him out.
Okay, we should find a safe space for him to rest. I'll look for one and set up a camp for him. Wait here so we can bring him together.
All right.
Coyote ran back to Spider and saw that he was indeed breathing.
I'm glad he's safe. Sister, he's all right.
He waited for a response, but none came.
Maybe she's too focused and can't hear me. I wonder if she found a safe place yet.
A few hours later, Spider finally awoke and saw Coyote standing nearby. Have I missed the race?
No, you fell and were asleep. Fox and I found you here. I stayed back to make sure you were alive, and Fox went to go find a safe place for you to rest.
And how long ago was that?
A few hours. Do you think she's okay?
I think she's winning.
You mean she cheated?
It seemed the time had finally come to stop thinking about how to slow each other down and instead think of a way to speed themselves up. Spider raced up a tree and back into the sky, and Coyote, who was friends with River, decided to ask her for help.
River! I'm racing against Spider and Fox to see who's the trickiest trickster. Help me!
And with a mighty roar, a great wave as tall as mountain lifted behind Coyote and came down with a crash, surging Coyote forward on a rushing avalanche of water. Not to be outdone, Spider, a child of the sky god Nyame, roared to the wind at his back. Winds! I am racing against Coyote and Fox to see who is the trickiest trickster of them all. Prove to the world that there is nothing in all of creation faster than the wind. And with a great howl, the winds gathered behind Spider and pushed him forward with breakneck speed. Now, with the wind and water at their backs, Spider and Coyote could both clearly see their final destination, though it was Spider who recognized it first. They were each careening towards the library at the edge of the world, the secret place where all knowledge in the world was kept. And Spider didn't think they would be able to slow down in time. Meanwhile, Coyote had reached the same frightening conclusion. He shouted towards River, asking her to slow down or stop, all thoughts of competition now wiped from his mind. But River could not stop. In fact, River had climbed so high that she began to merge with the winds that were surging Spider toward his destination. Soon, River and wind joined to become a great hurricane, tossing Spider and Coyote round like small stones in the hand of a juggler, heading straight towards the library at the edge of the world.
What should we do?
I do not know! First, Spider tried to make a web so vast and so strong that he would trap the hurricane inside of it and toss it to the other side of the world. But every time he tried to stitch the pieces of his silk together, the force of the wind would tear it apart. Coyote tried to run faster than he had ever run in the opposite direction of the spiral of the hurricane, thinking that this would cause the storm to die out. But each time he tried to pick up enough speed, the storm would knock him off course. By now, the library that a few days ago had appeared as nothing but a speck and just hours earlier looked like a small hut, was now close enough to be seen in all its grandeur. It was a massive building, one of the few of its kind to exist in many planes of existence at once. It constantly shimmered and changed shape. First, a grand building of white stone, then a stunning pillar of obsidian, then a massive pyramid made of red clay, again and again changing its form as if to find the proper shape in which it could hold all the knowledge in the world.
We have to work together. I will keep spinning just one rope of silk, but I will make it as strong as iron.
And I'll run with it as you create it and wrap it around the hurricane. Then we'll pull it off course.
With just minutes until impact, Spider spun his rope of silk, and with one end in his jaw, Coyote ran with it around the hurricane. They spun and ran and spun and ran, and with a great heave began to pull the hurricane off course. By now, the tricksters had caught up to Fox, and all she saw were her brothers working together to try and beat her. She did not care about the library. She did not care about the hurricane. She did care about losing. She saw Spider and Coyote holding on to the silken rope, and with a mighty roar blew a great ball of fire at it, melting it in an instant. No! But it was too late. With a great crash, Spider, Coyote, Wind, and River met clay and stone and obsidian, and a great hunk of the library at the edge of the world fell away. The rubble tumbled onto the earth with such a crash that every creature in the world heard it and froze. For one moment, one vast moment, the entire world was silent. And then it changed. The floating islands in the sky disappeared from view. Mortals forgot how to speak to trees. Dragons left the realm. Sorcerers stopped mid-spell, forgetting which part of their arcane rite came next. Colors dulled. Music thinned. Portals between realms extinguished. Flowers closed. Stories evaporated. Hope began to die. Kindness began to wither. And the tricksters were bored no longer.
That's it?
What do you mean?
What's the rest of it? What happens next?
Who says there's more?
There's always more.
Say that again.
There's always more.
Yeah.
Wow. I walked right into that one.
Like a fly into a spider's web? What happens next is my favorite question in the world. It's a reminder that whatever moment we find ourselves in is just that. A moment. Another is always on the way.
What about when it really hurts?
That's the very best time to ask.
You know, you bit me the last time we met.
I did.
Why? Why did you choose me?
I have not chosen you for anything yet. I am still deciding whether or not I should.
And how am I doing?
There is room for improvement.
I did what you asked, you know.
I told you to find a story worth telling. I never said run away.
Do you know why I ran?
I do. I also know that you cannot heal a wound you won't acknowledge.
It hurts.
Yes. That is the tricky part. You run off to avoid your pain, and all you do is accumulate more.
But what do I do now? I don't have anyone else. I don't even have the sea.
You, my boy, live. You did not have the sea when you hid away on that boat.
That feels like another lifetime ago.
You have had some rough chapters, sure, but the story is not over. Turn the page. Now, if you will excuse me, I think I will be off.
Wait. Was that story true?
Every word and every line.
I really do want to know how it ends.
I will tell you the rest next time. Or never again. Whichever comes first.
I don't remember how long it took for me to leave that beach. I stared into the sky for so long, my next journey could have taken me beyond the stars. So much had happened, so much had changed, but there, in the real world, on the sands of that beach, everything was still the same. No one else could look at me and know that I had played host to the divine. No one could listen to me and know that I had spoken to thousands of creatures they couldn't even imagine in a kingdom straight out of a fable. No one would see my tears and know that I was mourning my first love. They wouldn't know, but I would. The world hadn't changed, but I had. I had been irrevocably transformed on the day I left home. And on the first day I returned, I ate fish and listened to stories from the spider god that bit me. I still wasn't ready to face my past, but I knew I couldn't spend forever mourning a land that so clearly didn't want me back. I couldn't go back, and I couldn't stay here. Forward, I guess, was all that remained. It was time to turn the page. And so we dare, and so we do. Meanwhile, on a shore on the northern coast of Honshu.
Namaka, I must admit, I was surprised to hear from you. Last I heard, Atlantis was undergoing a remodel.
Yes, I'm sure it must seem so chaotic from the outside, but we thought it was time for a facelift. Keep an eye out for the invite to the reveal.
Even if you weren't speaking to the goddess of deceit, that was pretty pathetic, my dear.
Former goddess of deceit.
Don't throw stones, queen of fierce tides. You may very well be on your way to being a former sovereign, if all is to be believed. And you called me.
You're right. That was uncalled for.
Apology accepted. Now how can I help you?
Atlantis is in ruins. Tam Kung has been reborn as a child. And from what we understand, he'll mature as a brand new aspect of himself. No memories of his other life, will likely have a completely different personality.
That's hard. I know you two were very close.
That isn't the least of it. The denizens are in an uproar. Now, they're proposing that they have elective governors that rule along the septenary.
How unfortunate. Still waiting for how I plug in here.
Who caused all of this? I can't focus on hunting him down, and Alooooot would never allow me to harm him. So I need you to do it for me.
And who is this?
A mortal.
A mortal! A mortal did all this.
He might as well have. There's something about him. He's been marked. Tamkung wasn't able to tell by who, but...
You think he's been claimed by one of my brothers?
I don't know.
I don't deal in I don't knows. What's in it for me?
What do you want?
You know what I want. You've been a holdout for far too long.
I'm already part of one group. I'm not eager to join another.
Okay. Well, good luck with your rebuilding.
Wait! Who else is involved?
Can't tell you that. Not until you sign on the dotted line.
Fine. I'll join.
We're so happy to have you. Trust me, you're going to love it.
You promise to track the boy down?
Oh, cross my heart. I take my members' concerns very seriously. This boy won't know what hit him. And if taking care of him hurts one of my brothers, well, then that's just an added bonus.
Later, in a small inn just outside of Dublin, a young woman sits on her bed, reading a letter she's only recently received. She notices tear stains on the stationery, and in an act of serendipity, or perhaps just a reflection of their bond, her tears fall in the exact same place. The letter reads, "My dearest Sabina, forgive me. I don't seem to know where to begin. It's not often I speak anymore, or write. I think I may have forgotten how this works. What is beginning, and what is end? What is memory and current thought? Where to start? I think I want to ask you how you've been. I want to know all that you've done since I've last read a letter in your hand. I think I would rather see you and hear your voice. I know that I yearn for that almost as much as I know that I cannot make it so. I know what that would do, how that would end, how we would end. I think that may have been why I wrote, to ask you about endings. Did you feel it? I don't think I can feel. No. I can feel. I feel emptiness, void, a hole, a tearing. What is that? Why is that? Did you feel it? It's familiar somehow. The jagged edges of the tear feel like longing and seduction, love and regret. Have we lost her? Has it happened again? Are we now two, where there was once four? I ask because you alone would know. I cannot feel her, but that can mean many things. She could be far away. She could have closed herself off from me somehow, removed traces of herself from my memory. I'm not sure, but you would know. Death's melody rises in your voice. It takes root in your throat, so you would know. You must know. I didn't want to turn to you. I didn't want to lay this burden at your feet unless I was sure. So I went searching for answers. I kept listening for what I couldn't hear, and it led me to the sea. It ushered me towards ruin and destruction and blood and stone, and when I walked through their memories, I saw her. I saw our sister, and I watched her transform into something terrible. So I know her body lives, but seeing that, knowing that her heart still beats, knowing that our blood still flows in her veins, did nothing for the ache in my heart, nothing to cauterize the wound or mend the tear. So, sister, I ask again, is she gone? There is much I don't know, much that I must relearn, after having spent far too long in the minds of others, and not enough in my own. I've spent too long in the remembering, and not enough in the land of the now. But it seems we have friends. A young woman came to me. She seemed to know that I was connected to our sister, and she told me who was to blame. A boy. An alleged divine emissary. She said he was shouting at her when it happened, manipulating her, betraying her. Sister, I do not know if Neris is gone, but I do know that I am tired of the wrongs done to our family. I know that I will fill the void within me with vengeance. I will fill it with blood and destruction and justice for Neris, for Prudence, for Mother, for you. And it starts with him. The rest of the letter blurs against the woman's tears as she drops it gently upon the bed. She falls to her knees and weeps silently for her fallen sibling. Rocking back and forth, she searches her soul for any echo of her sister's song. When she finds none, she picks up the letter to search again for the name. Dante. 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 Her lips curl with hatred and disgust as she carves the name into her heart. And then the banshee screams. My Blood the Ink is a production of Akeem's Alchemy. Episode 11, A Race Between Tricksters, was written and directed by J.Cottle. The episode featured original compositions by Miguel Landestoy, sound design by J.Cottle, studio engineering by Tom Nikiper and Carlos Curry, and editing by Lucy Little. This episode featured J.Cottle as Dante, Mika Rose as Fox, Jasmine Garcia as Namaka, Diji Kay as Spider, and Jay Connolly as Coyote. My Blood the Ink is executive produced by J.Cottle and Jasmine Garcia. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters Jordan Leslie, Taniqua Patrick, Mika Rose, Daisy Oganeto, Allison Caldwin Patrick, and Christina Jefferson. This episode marks the end of our first season, but we will be back for season 2. In the meantime, join our Patreon for exclusive content, including bonus episodes, the Dante Diaries, our show about the making of the show, our recorded table reads, trickster tales from around the globe read by our tricksters, and much, much more. For more information on My Blood the Ink and Akeem's Alchemy, visit us on Instagram at Akeem's Alchemy or our website at akeemsalchemy.com. Thank you to my amazing cast and crew for trusting me and joining me on this journey into the unknown. We learned a lot we can use for season 2. Thank you to all of our listeners for believing that this was a story worth listening to. Please remember that no matter how dark it gets, yours is a life worth living. Face your pain, be careful with the stories you tell about yourself, and turn the page. Until next time...